Youth Forum, a place where we shape the next generation, a place where we discuss issues like relationships, career and business advice, education and religious matters, and much, much more. So sit back, watch, and be informed. Your host is Laban Bithi. Welcome.
Good evening once again. It is a great pleasure to have you join us this evening. We are delighted that you are part of this show. Every moment, every time that we come live, you always show up. And we are happy that you are taking your time from your busy schedules to listen, to watch, to even share, and even to release and transmit this show to so many people. As we normally say, the essence of all these discussions, it is for it to leave an impact in the generations. See, the scripture says, the expectation of the creation is awaiting the revealing of the sons of God. Our major focus has been the young people. And the creation is awaiting your revealing. The creation is awaiting your manifestation. So this discussion should enable you that you are going to make impact in your season. That you not take every moment as a careless person. That you're going to maximize every moment that you get to be of value. To be remembered for the good that you did. That is the reason why we come to you every Monday at 8 p.m. to nurture you, to empower you, to mentor you, and to make you of impact. So we appreciate you that you've always found time. We appreciate you that you are part and parcel of this show. So my name is Laban Bithi. I am your host. I'm happy that you've been my guest even from afar. And down you can drop a question. Maybe there is a topic that you'd like us to discuss as time goes by. Just drop it down that we are going to find time to be able to discuss every moment that we get time. So don't fail to drop a text. If we reach out to you and you feel the message is, is empowering you, give a positive comment. And it will be too instrumental to the show. Yeah. So today I'm joined by my friend who've been here together for quite some time. As you can see, he has come well loaded. From the appearance, you can know that he has great wisdom that he's ready to release to you. So I would appreciate if you can say your name and say hi to the congregation. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For those that are tuning in for the first time, my name is Martin Donyo. It has always been a pleasure to interact with you on this platform, and I'm glad that we have this opportunity to share as we get to discuss matters pertaining to life, matters pertaining to those things that are important to you, are important to us all. And I believe that out of these discussions that we've had in the past and even today, your life is going to be impacted in a positive way. You're going to learn something new. You're going to look at life and approach it in a better perspective. Mm-hmm. And eventually you're going to become a better you. Yeah. Because that is what we purpose, that is what we are pursuing. And again, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, sure. Well, welcome. We are happy that you always find time. We have so busy schedules every day. and you find time to come and release what you have to the generations that are coming. So that is like we are leaving a seed even for the other generations that are rising up. And we are glad that you are doing that for the sake of them that are following us. Well, today we are going to focus on something that is also affecting the young people or the youth, being that when you say about creations awaiting a manifestation, there is a much potential that lies into the youth. And if it is not tapped, then it can resort to a negative impact. So the reason why we put much emphasis in this, it is for it to be able, by the end of the day, bring a substantial impact. So today we are focusing about a teenager and relationships. And it's not relationships per se, what people tend to understand about that. It is a relationship like a parent and teenager relationship, a teacher and student relationship, and the society and the teenager relationship. Because teenagers are prevalent with quite a number of issues, and if somebody slips off the way, they can deviate and they fail to get to the optimum that they are supposed to go. So that is our key emphasis today: teenager and relationships. So sit down, get a notebook, share widely, listen, and make sure this word is even reached to so many people and help a generation. Maybe you are a leader in the church and you have teenagers in your church. You can invite them even when you are watching this forum, that they can also get equipped, because we are living in very hard times. Once we don't maximize the time that we have as teenagers right now, it will distort everything. Yeah. So back to my guest today, Mr. Martin. As we've said, we are very much happy that you've came with the mindset to help this teenager, with the mindset to help this parent, this teacher, and even to see how the teenagers can reach their optimum capacity and they will not slip off the way. Initially, we discussed about a teenager. We were able to see who is a teenager. And maybe for them that are not there, you can be able to see in some of our shows, if you are able just to check either on Facebook or on YouTube. And we explained who is a teenager. And now, being that we are going to get deeper, there's a teenager and relationship. What I would appreciate, just for them that were not, maybe they didn't watch before, I want us to understand about who is a teenager and what do we understand about relationship. The definition and then now the correlation between the two, in a way that somebody will understand the meaning of the two. That I will not just go with the word relationship and go with the word teenager without getting the deeper meaning. You can just expound on the same.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Allow me to start this conversation with scripture, because like you might have noted is that our main concern in this show is the young people. And for several reasons. For example, currently in Africa, they make up the largest percentage of the population. And they are very key people in any society. Why? Because they not only represent the now, they also determine a big part of the future. And I'd like to quote from 1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 12. I'll be reading from the New Living Translation that says, "Do not let anyone think less of you." Other translations will say, "Do not let anyone despise you." Do not let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity. I choose to start with this as a foundation. Why? Because in most cases, the biggest problem with the young people is that they either are looked down upon or they actually look down upon themselves. And so because as an individual, you are subjected to spite, or you subject yourself to spite, then you do not manifest, like you've said, from scripture, that the creation awaits the manifestation of the sons of God. And you see, people are so eager to get to know who we really are. Because I'll tell you for free that what has been deposited in each one of us is so great that if we would get an opportunity to see it, if you are given an opportunity to see the end from the beginning, most of us would not believe that it is us. And so it is very important that we not only overcome the temptation of looking down upon ourselves as young people, but also overcome the challenge of other people looking down on us. Now, just a recap of what we talked about teenage and the adolescence and all that. This is simply a season, a stage in life that spans about 10 or 11 years. Slightly before the 13th year of age and slightly after the 19th year of age. Why is it very important? You'll realize that you even learn about it in school is because it is a transitional stage where you move from childhood into adulthood, so that biologically the body is positioning you for responsibilities that come with adulthood. And that's why, for example, there's what we call puberty, where the body will start changing in different ways to in readiness for the responsibilities of adulthood, be it siring children or giving birth to them. And so that is a season. And because of the very many biological processes that take place in the body, sometimes it becomes a very sensitive season. Why? Because the person that is going through this stage is going through a very strange phenomena. And in most cases, unfortunately, the people that are around this young person are also not very supportive as to guide this person safely through that stage. Sometimes you can't blame them because they also are not helped through that stage. They were left to their skills. You find your way out. And so teenage becomes, in most cases, and unfortunately so, a very rough patch for most people. Why? Because you're going through a process that is very okay, very natural, but widely misunderstood. And I think the most pronounced concern is usually because of the emotional aspect It is not even more of the physical, but because of the emotional, where you find that there are these emotional imbalances. Because again, of what the body is going through.
Yeah.
If you are keen, you'll realize the same tends also to happen with expectant mothers.
Yeah.
Because there's a process that is ongoing in your body that distorts other functionalities of the body. And so emotionally, most of these young people go through some sort of unexpected changes. And because of that, and because of, again, the pressures that come with the changes that are taking place in the body, they either feel that they are misunderstood or they are actually misunderstood.
Yeah.
Okay? So that, and that's why I used the scripture there, that the spite comes from within, and also sometimes it comes from the people around. And so just linking teenage and relationships, now you find that because this young person is going through this stage that is alien to them, and they are not living in a vacuum, they live with other people, be it adults, be it their peers, be it people in authority, there tends to be some friction in most cases. Okay? Why? Because relationship simply means, how do I behave? How do I treat other people? How do those people treat me? How do those people behave towards me? So, because I'm going through this stage that I can't really understand, and nobody seems to be helping me understand it or go through it effectively, then my relationship with those people that are around me is affected, and in most cases, in the negative. Yes.
Well, that's interesting. It has been an elaborate explanation. I think if you are able to listen, there's a way that we've begun. Somebody is able to take, a quick understanding of what you meant. And that means if you are able to listen, you've understood a teenager, where a teenager lies, and the certain growth characteristics that exist, quite a number of things that happen when you are a teenager, and then how relationships comes along. Now that has been so interesting, Martin. In this generation that we are living, when we understand about the teenager and what you've just explained about the relationships, we are realizing that quite a number of them, teenagers, and how they relate with people, actually a small percentage relates with people in a positive way. But realize that a majority of the teenagers, they don't relate well with people. Actually, it becomes too negative. Even them that we see in church who are born again, you find that their relationship with people, it is one thing. And it's like they want their way, not what we say, or rather we say it is right. So, with what you've just explained, why is it that such happens? And yes, right, it happens. And one, touching what you've said, how they relate with their peers, maybe school, the society. Why is it that such happens? And then after you illustrate why such happens, there's somebody who does not just want to know why such happens. They need to see a solution, a remedy that can come to curb the situation. Because it is not like me being a teenager, I cannot amount to anything. I can still be a teenager and be of good character, be somebody of value, make impact. So why is it that such happens? And what do I need to do that now I'll bring a substantial impact? Yes, please.
I think it's important for us to understand that teenage is just a stage. It is just a phase.
Yeah.
And again, I'll use pregnancy as a point of reference. Pregnancy is just a phase. 9 months and it's over.
Yeah.
Regardless of the changes that might have taken place in the body or that take place after, but it is a stage. It does not last forever.
Yeah, sure.
Same thing with teenage. And so, you see, sometimes, unfortunately, because of the misunderstanding that comes out of that stage for the teenager,
Yeah.
that I'm dealing with something that I can't understand. I'm dealing with something that feels different and not different in a good way. Because I'll tell you for free that sometimes, even with the boys and with the girls, the boys sometimes are not comfortable with a deeper voice than they had. They feel it is odd.
Yeah.
Yet it is natural. The girls, because of the formations of the body, they feel a bit uncomfortable. And sometimes I've seen this in school. Girls, even though it is very hot, will not remove their sweater.
Yeah.
Why? They feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And because of that, because you feel uncomfortable with yourself, then it negatively affects how you handle other people.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you feel that the same discomfort that you have with yourself is what is around. And most of the time it is imagined. It is not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah? And then you see now how the relationships now are affected. The peers might start making fun of you because of these changes. So already there is a strained relationship there with the peers. Then the adults will not understand, why are you not taking off your sweater? Or why do you prefer, like I've seen in class sometimes, girls will prefer sitting like this. You see? And the reason they are sitting like that is because they are uncomfortable with the changes that are taking place in their body. You understand? So when the teacher comes in, they'll tell you, sit up. And you keep on doing this, you have a problem. You understand?
Yeah.
So now, at the end of the day, you find there is a strain in how they relate.
Yeah.
But for me, I always believe that the biggest responsibility lies with the adults.
Yeah.
In this sense, we have already gone through that stage. We know something that this young person does not know.
Yeah.
So we have a bigger responsibility to guide them, just like we guide children through stages, you know, to guide this young person to understand that this is just a phase. And it is a natural phase that you must go through if you are a normal human being. So for me, I believe that the biggest responsibility is with the adults. If we can just purpose teachers in school, parents at home, let's just purpose to guide these young people. Let them understand. And unfortunately, let me say this, the adults are the ones that propel this negativity because they have a notion that teenage is the worst stage in life. Now, if you already have a notion like that, what do you expect the teenager to do? And they have already been told, parents have a discussion, has yours gotten to teenage? Now you have a problem. What do you expect? And already as an adult, you have positioned your mind in the negative. I expect trouble. So even when you don't get trouble, you go poking, looking for trouble. You see now the negative part. And so for me, even before we put a responsibility on the young person, as adults, what are we doing to help this young person appreciate what they are going through and embrace it positively, because again, it is not all teenagers that are bad. It is not all teenagers that go through it in a rough way, in a negative way. Okay? But at the end of the day, it matters how that person is guided through that stage. And back to the young person, you have a responsibility. Remember, it is a stage. And this same person that you are talking to rudely, you will need them after that stage. Okay? And it's still your parent, it's still your brother, it's still your teacher. Just know that it is a stage, and at the end of the day, just take a responsibility over yourself and allow to be guided.
And maybe as you continue, Martin, there's a time initially we spoke about mentorship as a topic. And we spoke about the mentor-mentee relationship. In this now discussion about the teenager and relationships, as you are just trying to explain, it means that me as a teenager, I'll need somebody who is like a mentor to guide me through this process. On just what you are trying to explain, what's the relevance of me having a mentor? Even though we know that a teenager feels like he or she knows everything. But what is the essence of me as an individual now, as a teenager, having a mentor?
Mentorship is key because, remember, we say that mentorship is simply that relationship that you have with somebody that has been where you want to be. And so, and it cuts across, not just teenage issues. So, if I am going through something that I feel I don't understand, something that I feel is straining my relationship with other people, something that was not there, it is safe for me to look for a person that I can trust, that I can open up to, that I admire. And it is not necessarily tied to any person. You can have a mentor from your teachers. Okay? You can, because sometimes you have a teacher that you feel you can trust, a teacher that you can, you just admire what they are, who they are, how they do their things, and you feel this person represents what I want to become. Even if you don't necessarily want to become a teacher, but whatever they stand for, you feel you want to become like that. Or sometimes you have a relative. Any relative that you feel, I can trust this person, I admire this person, I like what they are. Open up to them. Just make a call, create time, and just, sometimes you just say, there's this and I don't understand. You can even be open and say, I don't like what is happening. I don't like the way my voice sounds nowadays. And that person is in a position to help you understand that maybe even for them, the voice that you are hearing is not what they had.
Maybe from Martin, you've been all along, you've been teaching, that you have a relationship with the students. The aspect of what we are discussing now, in school we have guidance and counseling, and you meet teenagers, one-on-one. Knowing that some will be ready to listen to you, and some will be ready to do what you've taught them. And others will choose whether to do it or not. So, is it that me being a teenager, the aspect of making the choice of what I want to do is relevant? Or how can I be able now to program myself as a teenager? Because we are saying that we are made by the choices that we make. I can choose not to follow what you tell me. So how will this teenager package himself or herself that they can learn from a mentor?
Now remember, we said that teenage is transiting from childhood into adulthood. And the biggest thing for me about adulthood is the ability to take responsibility and to be held accountable for your actions.
Yeah, sure.
You see, when a child is below 7 years, we say that they don't know the difference between good and bad.
Yeah.
But thereafter, and a teenage is beyond 7 years, a teenager, you know, okay? You know, for example, it is wrong to be rude.
Yeah.
You know, for example, it is wrong to defy what an adult tells you, for example, unless it is wrong what they are telling you. And so, for me, I think it is very lazy for any young person to take advantage of, I am a teenager, and that's why I can't do this. It is wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Because again, it is a phase in which you are training yourself to be accountable for your actions. You are training yourself to be responsible, and you're also training yourself to make decisions that you can be held accountable for.
Also remembering that it is said that you are a product of the choices that you make.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, by the time you are 13, you know to a large extent what is good and what is bad.
Sure.
And I think for me, the most important thing is just to know that whatever changes are taking place must take place.
Yeah.
And so accept that this is a phase I'm going through. Accept that this is a natural process that I have to go through. Okay? And so out of it, you want to become a better you. You can't stop it. You know? It's just like the stages of life. There's birth and there's death.
Yeah.
You know? It is guaranteed. And so just like we can't change that,
Yeah.
the processes within life have to go through, whether you like them or not.
Yeah.
And so our biggest challenge as young people is to accept as we go through them, but most importantly, to make choices that we are comfortable about even in future when we have to be held responsible. I'll say this, sometimes, you see, teenage being a transition from childhood to adulthood, you are building a character. We get to know what kind of a person you are.
Yeah.
We get to know what we expect out of you. And remember, you started by saying there's a lot that has been deposited in you.
Yeah.
Even before you got to teenage, it was already there.
Yeah.
And so it is now for you, by molding your character and by being
Packaging yourself well.
yes,
Yeah.
allowing yourself to be guided, allowing yourself to be corrected, because I think the biggest challenge comes with correction.
Yeah. Yeah.
When somebody tells you, no, don't do that, and you feel, why are they telling me that I should not do it? Already the questioning shows you that you are transitioning. Because when you are younger, when somebody elder tells you don't do it, you wouldn't even question.
Yeah.
But the fact that now you are questioning tells you that your mind is growing and developing to a certain level of responsibility and ability to reason.
Yeah.
Okay, which you didn't have when you were younger. So that's a positive thing.
Yeah.
Even the questioning, but how do you handle it? When you are told, don't come to this house after 9, and you question why. Okay, now that's a good thing. But now, how do you handle that? When you're told, don't relate with those people, why should I not relate with them? And they are my friends.
Yeah.
Because I think the biggest challenge with teenage comes with correction.
Yeah.
When somebody, the don'ts, and you have to explain, don't do this. Why?
Why?
Yes. And so, just like the law.
And then they go and try it to see what happens once you do it. Yeah.
it's called an experimental stage. In teenage, there's a lot of experiments that take place. Again, always remember, you will be held responsible. Always. It pains me a lot when we invest a lot of time, a lot of effort on students in class, and then they drop out because of pregnancy. I can tell you for sure, it's there's one case that made us even stop doing what we did that time. So we decided one time as a guidance and counseling department together with the administration to do pregnancy tests on all the girls, impromptu. They didn't know it. And so out of the positive cases, I think we got 2. Unfortunately, both of them were in Form 1, and it was Term 1, week 2 of Term 1 of Form 1. And one was aware, but the second one was the most devastating for us. She was not even aware, you know. And so when asked, so when was the last time you had your period? I can't remember. Innocently. Why? Because again, she has not even been guided through this process of puberty to know that these are the cycles of life, and this is how you know whether there's a point of concern or not. Because sometimes you will miss them because it's a concern health-wise. So we started interrogating. So have you ever had sexual intercourse? Yes. When? Where? With who? Oh, you know, when we finished our KCPE, there was this boy who said, who we were in love with, I was in love with, and then he said, now that we were parting ways, and we didn't know when we were going to meet again, we should part ways in a good way. So we went, blah, blah, blah. Do you know where he lives? No. But I know that he said that he lives in Kwale. This is Kilifi. Have you ever met after the KCP? No. And I can tell you, when we broke the news to the mother, she felt like she wanted the earth to swallow her. Because the father had grilled the girl for several hours and told her, are you sure I am not going to waste my money? And I don't know. I want to believe that this girl was told these things in school, in one way or another, because I know as teachers, you will always find a place in which to put in some words of advice, even as you are teaching. But you see now, this is a child that is transitioning into adulthood, and they want to question. Why are you telling me that relationships are bad? And you are married.
As now we discuss about that, Martin, we are just coming to the closure of the show, and we just had you to continue taking your time. Don't disappear. It's interesting, and I'm very much sure that a great deposit is getting input in your system. A great deposit is getting put in you that you can even run with it and reach out to so many people. This is a topic that is affecting so many people, and we may not exhaust it all. And we are very sure if we just take the nuggets very well, they are going to be of great importance. You see, Martin, I've realized that it's true that such things are happening. And there is one mistake that the society, the teachers also, you know, the church and the peers do. Yes, I am a teenager. I'm going through whatever I'm going through. And instead of being of help to me, we've come to a point of now condemning them. we've come to a point whereby we don't offer solution, but now we tend to bad mouth them. You know, it is happening all over. And yes, I am having a problem. And you don't see the problem in the name of like an opportunity to help me. You see the problem in the name of taking time to go and begin to discuss about me. Well, why are such things happening that instead of coming with a solution, you get a chance to speak ill about me? And then how can we be able now to solve such a mess for the sake of the generation that is coming after us?
You see, the Bible says, to whom much is given,
Yeah, sure.
much is expected. And that's why I said initially that the biggest responsibility is with the adults.
Yeah,
Because we've been there,
yeah.
you know. We might not forget, we might not remember the challenges that we went through. But at least we know that this person is going through a phase. And so our biggest responsibility is to guide.
Yeah.
You see? And I'll tell you, having dealt with young people, the first reaction is usually rebellion. It is almost natural,
Yeah.
you know? Because again, I told you, I want to question.
Yeah.
Why are you telling me to do this without explaining? And you see now the adult keeps looking at this person as a child. I don't have to explain. I told you, do it.
Yeah.
So the first reaction that comes almost naturally is rebellion. But now as an adult, and I've seen this work, because in school I've always preferred the schools that I've worked, I've taught in have been incidentally all mixed schools, and all day.
Yeah.
But I've always have this bias to the boys, and so you see the boys are looking at you as a fellow man. They are no longer boys in their mind. Very okay. And so they want to challenge. Why are you saying this? Can't I do it another way? Because again, the man in them is speaking,
Yeah.
which is okay. But one thing I've learned, if you can be patient with them, just be patient,
Yeah.
and insist on what is right, on the values and on the principles, you get to earn their respect,
Yeah.
and you get to earn their trust. Okay?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I mean, it is for us to know that these people are not necessarily rude. I remember I even told one of my students, I understand you, I know you are not rude. Your only problem is that expressing yourself in English is the problem. So at the end of the day, you sounded rude, although
You didn't intend.
you didn't intend
Yeah.
for it to be that way. So if you can be patient with them, if
Yeah.
you can, but don't compromise on what is right,
Yeah.
but be patient with them. Eventually, you will earn their trust, and they will understand that much as this person is firm, it is not for, it is not just meant to put us down and make us feel bad.
Yeah. So
It is-
that means they need somebody who is able to, you know, to get down to their level, to be able to listen to them.
And it is, you see, it is Martin Luther King Jr. that said that with one hand you hold the rod, and with another you hold the apple.
Yeah.
So there's a time that you are firm, and there's a time that you lower yourself. That way you will win them.
Yeah.
Because remember, they are already at war within themselves. Don't make it worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? Don't make it worse. But don't compromise again. Yeah. Let them know that, yes, you want to question, you want to do it this way, but this is the right way.
Yeah.
And do it in a friendly manner. I think the most important thing, which is a big challenge to us as adults, is that friendliness.
Yeah.
Because we, especially as a teacher, you'll feel, I mean, how do I lower myself to the level of these young people to, you know? But there's a time to be firm, and there's a time now just to lower yourself and let them feel that you are one of them. And that way, you'll get the best out of them.
Wow, wow, wow. So that means there's still hope, you know, in the teenagers that we have. We still have much hope in you as a teenager. You can still be assisted by somebody without compromising in any way. And you being as a teenager, you still carry much potential. And don't undermine yourself and think that nothing good can come out of me. Believe in yourself. In the process, you make mistakes. Don't allow the mistakes to define you. You can still make it and you can still get to the top. And remember one thing, you are still a product of the choices that you make. So wherever you are, don't allow the growth, rather the season where you are in to define you. Yes, you are a teenager, but you are still responsible of the decisions that you make. So thank you so much, Martin. It has been an interesting conversation. It has been a conversation that we believe and that we hope that it has reached to so many people. It's a long discussion. We can take hours talking about it. And I know we've not exhausted everything. And as we come to the closure of the discussion, maybe just to be able to give some closing remarks and just speak to that young person who is a teenager, to that parent who was teenagers at home, to that teacher who is managing teenagers at school, to that pastor, that youth leader who is having teenagers in the church. As we come to the closure, just with closing remarks, kindly you can address them, please.
So to the young person out there, I call them potential gentlemen and potential ladies. Why? Because it is already in them.
Yeah.
It is only awaiting the opportune moment to manifest. So to you potential gentleman and you potential lady, teenage doesn't have to be a death sentence.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a rough patch. It is a natural process that has to take place, and it will take place.
Yeah.
All that is required of you is to handle it positively. If you feel that there's something that you don't like, you feel that there's something that is disturbing you, you are not comfortable with what is happening in your life and all that, get an adult that you can trust and just open up to them. And I am sure that you'll get help. And again, we are also available. Like you'll see the numbers there. Just reach out. And you don't have to make mistakes simply because you are going through a process and a stage that is foreign to you.
Yeah.
To the adults, we have the biggest responsibility. Let us treat these young people with love, with patience, and let them know that we are genuinely concerned about them. It is not easy, of course. I'll tell you, it was not easy for me to tone down and come to their level. I can tell you for free. But again, it is very rewarding that, I'll tell you, by the way, even to date,
Yeah.
there are young people that I interacted with. They finish school 4 years down the line. And we are friends. And people like tell you, Mwalimu, I can't even believe that we actually met again, because I've always felt that you are a big resource in my life. And there are people that you are tough on in class and you even didn't think that they valued what you are taking them through. And so I'll tell you that as an adult, it is very fulfilling. And please, let us not demonize them.
Yeah.
Let us not refer to them as, these young people that are always a nuisance. They are not.
Call them names.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even when we have our discussions, let us realize that we were also there.
Yeah.
And look at what we've become. Are we still a nuisance? Are we still a bother? Are we still a problem? We are not.
That means we have to address them in what they can become, not who they are at the moment. Yeah.
Yes. And if if some of us became something that, we went through patches.
We've been in the mud, you didn't even know whether you
will discuss that another day.
Yeah.
Where you had to even get expelled, simply because of that questioning.
Yeah.
I mean, why? Why not do it this way?
Yeah.
And I'm also a man.
Yeah.
So it is not all bad. And by the way, not all teenagers are bad. Not all teenagers are having it rough and negative. But most importantly, and I think this will be my parting shot, allow yourself to be teachable. You don't know it all. And the day you do, then you are as good as dead.
Yeah.
If you wake up and you know everything, you've simply died, even if you continue living.
Yeah.
So allow yourself to be teachable and walk in humility. You can never be too high. You can never be too good. You can never be, there's always something else you can learn. There's always something else that you can get from somebody. So walk in humility and allow yourself to be teachable. And that stage will go through like it never happened. And at the end of it, you'll be a great beneficiary, you'll be fulfilled, and you'll not have a baggage of regrets, of mistakes that you made, of wrong choices that you made, simply because a natural phase was taking place.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Martin. It has been great having you around today. I know we may not want to end the conversation. It is just getting deeper and deeper. Actually, a majority of things now are getting to be unveiled. But we must end the conversation so that we can get a platform, or rather a place where we can begin. The other day, these are conversations that needs also to be, discussed again and again. Because we have great potential in you young people. And we really want the generation that is coming up to emerge with much power. To emerge and to cause the impact that we've mentioned. So thank you so much for being available, for tuning in, finding time, allowing your children, your peers, allowing also your students to watch this. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for the comments that we can see down. And even thank you for them that are making calls. The numbers are on every time. Make calls, let us talk, let us discuss. You can even invite us in any of your forums, be it in school, be it in church, or any other forum that we can be able to equip the society. So God bless you so much, and let it be a season of rising up. God bless you. Thank you so much, Martin. We are grateful for your coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, asante.
How can a young person be consistent on a purpose? How can a young person...
You see a person doing or behaving a certain way. It is out of information. You dress like you think.
Yeah.
You talk like you think. Out of what is inside here, the fullness within here, that's what the mouth speaks.
Yeah.
So what you have in your head, you behave like that.
What do you understand by social media?
Yeah, social media, it's a platform. It's a connecting platform.
All right.
just as the word goes, social media. It's a platform for mostly socializing. It's a media of exchanging information.
To be inspired, be ready to be transformed, be ready to get something great, something that is going to change you. Be ready to receive a word for you.